Are you listening? Damn. Yeah.
Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Boss Talks. I'm Kristine Drummond and I'm here with my co-host Joel Lord. And today we've got an exciting topic for you. We're going to actually teach you guys how to create habits that stick. So if you love this information, if you love this topic, if you believe that there's people out there that could get value from what we're talking about, then share it out, guys. We want to go all the way to the top 10 with this podcast, and we can only do that if you guys help get the message out there and support us and send us some reviews as well. Don't forget to rate us. Drop us some comments. If there's a topic that you would love to hear on Boss Talks, drop us a comment and let us know, and we'll make sure that we can air a topic around what you guys want to hear. So today we are talking about habits, and I want to share a quote from Aristotle, who basically said, "Excellence is an art won by training and habituation. We do not act rightly because we have virtue or excellence, but we rather have those because we have acted rightly. We are what we repeatedly do. Excellence then is not an act, but a habit." So I wanted to share that with you guys today, because what I'm seeing out there whenever, and I suppose in my own life as well, whenever I are not achieving the results that I want, it's basically because I've stopped the habits of, doing the activities that are going to get me to that level. So I think the first step in creating habits that stick is getting really clear, like having the clarity around what it is you actually want. And you're going to have different habits for different areas of your life. So if you have a fitness goal, so at the moment I have a fitness goal. I turn 40 in 12 weeks time, and I am I've actually upped my level of consistency with my fitness and my eating, because I want to look and feel a certain way by the time I hit 40. So my habits are rock solid in regards to that area. I'm very clear, and I've been clear for the last few years, that I wanted to be at my fittest at 40. So of course I've been compounding those habits, and now I'm in the last 12 weeks, and I've upped my game a little bit. But if you've got goals in regards to your business, then you're going to have to create some empowering habits that are going to help you get the results that you want. And you might have to create different habits for the different areas in your business. And if you've got a relationship with your kids, relationship with your parents, relationship with your partner, you're going to have to create some habits in there to get you the results that you want. An example, I suppose, in our household is, we want to create a safe space. We want to create open communication. We want to create positivity, a positive energy. So we create habits in our house where, on a consistent basis, on a daily basis, we are doing something. For example, it could be just as simple as, around the dinner table, going around and everyone saying what their favorite part was for the day. What are they grateful for today? So it's those little things, it's those little habits that, having the clarity around what you want first. I'm going to talk about the rest of the steps soon, but I wanted to bring Joel in here. Joel, what do you think in regards to this topic and creating habits that stick?
I think you are your habits. I think I could look at most people's scoreboards, the results they're getting, and I could already identify what their habits are. I know that for sure. So we've actually developed a podcasting habit, haven't we? I was thinking how funny that was. Like we started this podcast. I think you came in probably about podcast 5 or something, and we're up to 60. This is 62. But so many, and imagine, I have no intention of stopping. So, in 10 years' time, we're going to be a lot better at podcasting than we are now. It won't just be because there's some new fandangled technology out. Maybe there is. maybe there'll be AI that can sound like us and be way more intelligent than us. But realistically, in 10 years' time, we're going to be way better because we've got repetition. We're doing it often and we're getting better and better. It's just like something that's happened in over the time. For example, in my health, since the craziness has happened, there has not been an opportunity. I haven't taken an opportunity to go hit the stairs. I've still been healthy. I've still been exercising. I just haven't got to a set of stairs. And now it's almost time to hit stairs again. I'm thinking it's time to get a stairs habit again. Otherwise, I'm going to get a stairs lesson. You know, like I want to be able to walk like after it. So like an example that has been near and dear to my heart, and I thought it's made a massive impact for me, my family, but I thought it was just going to stop there, is the 75 hard. We haven't just got one group doing it. We've got multiple groups. We've got people that aren't in our groups that are doing it because of us. You know what we started this year, Kristine, and that is it was so funny. I was on a call last night and there was a guy and he was being coached by another really high level coach, and he was going through some dramas and some stuff in his life, and I just can't help to think, like, straight away I just thought, seriously, the 75 hard would just change the game, because there's things in his life that are pretty much out of his control at the moment, and they're not pleasant. And I'm not going to go into that here, but just there's some shit that happens in people's lives that aren't in their control. What is in control of is your habits. Like I suggested straight away that breaking the pattern of what he's doing now, which is, you know, we all get into it's down situation. We can get down on ourselves. This would change it. So creating new empowering habits around a lot of stuff, you know what I mean? So whatever you want in life is a product of your habits, isn't it, Kristine? Like if you want a six pack, you're not just going to get it because you want it, or, you know, you're going to go buy one. You can't get one off the shelf that looks reasonable. I've seen some horror stories. But anyway, don't watch the Joe Rogan podcast. I watched that on. It just came up in some of the plastic surgery dramas that people have. Like, oh my God, just go eat low carb or something. But, you know, if you want a six pack, you're going to have to go create six pack getting habits. If you want to run a 4-minute kilometer, you need to go do that. If you want to be fit at 40, you need fit at 40 habits. Kristine's got those. Like, is this a common theme? Because you reap what you sow. You will reap what you sow. If you have bad habits in your relationship, you're probably going to get a divorce. If you have bad habits with your kids, you're probably going to have whatever the kid version of that is. They're probably, you know, disaster, principal's offices or something like that. You know, it's not about, like Bruce Lee says, it's not about knowing 10,000 different like self-defense moves or fighting moves. It's about knowing one and practicing it 10,000 times. So, Kristine, I took so many notes from your intro, but I don't want to like take up the whole podcast just saying what I think. What, like, has any of that, what I've just said, sparked any inspiration?
Yeah, absolutely it has. And you're so right. Like for me, and I want to bring it back to the 75 hard, because the 75 days, and a lot of people, that's a turn off. They're just like, oh, I can't stick to something for that long. But that's how habits are created. Like we have to stick to them for that long. And it's a perfect segue into, you know, Robin Sharma's got this amazing book. It's called The 5 a.m. Club. And when I was living on the Gold Coast, right near the beach, I was getting up at 5 a.m. and following these. But down here in Albury, I tend to sleep in a little bit more in the mornings because they're so cold. But he's got a habit installation protocol that he talks about. And this is how you embed habits. So basically the first 22 days is the destruction stage. The second 22 days, stage 2, is the installation stage. And then the third 22 days is the integration stage. So all up, it's a minimum of 66 days. That's how long it takes to embed a habit. Okay. So all these people that say, just do something for 21 days, it'll creep back. Okay. So we have to go through the different stages: destruction, installation, and integration. And I'll talk a little bit more about those. So basically what he says is, you'll move through an initial period of destruction. Like, this is where it's really hard in the beginning to stick to your new habits, right? And then in the middle, it gets messy. It gets really messy. So this is basically what he says. You need to keep at it, and you'll definitely move ahead in the second stage of process if you can make it through the first stage, okay? So what I love and why the 75 hard is so good, Joel, is because when people miss one of the steps, they've got to go back to day one, which means they've got to go back to the start of the destruction stage. And it's the hardest stage. It's where we lose the most people in the 75 hard challenge. Most people just can't get through that first 22 days. And I have to say, like, we've got a group of women. I had 40 women in that group. There's probably about 9 of us left that are still consistently going. So that's how much that people fall out in that first stage. But with the 75 hard, guess what? And with any habit, you get to go again. You just reset, go back to day one, and you go again. And if you can make it through that destruction stage and get into the next stage of installation, that's where it becomes a little bit easier, but it's still a bit messy as you're trialing and erroring things, you're tweaking things. And then as soon as you get through to the last stage, which is integration, this is where we see so much success. This is like, you can see the light at the end of the tunnel. In the 75 hard, people sort of get to around that day 50, 55, and they're like, I got this. Like, it becomes easier because they've backed themselves so far. They know what they're capable of now. And then that last stage is just like, all I have to do is just maintain these habits. So I love that he talks about that. Robin Sharma also talks about the 5 scientific truths behind excellent habits, which I just really wanted to share at the moment as well. So truth number 1, he says that world-class willpower isn't an inborn strength, but it's a skill that's developed through relentless practice. Getting up at dawn in his 5 a.m. book is perfect self-control training. So whatever it is for you, it's like getting out of that comfort zone and knowing that it's not inborn, that it's absolutely a skill that you can build on. It gives me peace of mind that there's hope for all of us. Okay. Truth number 2 is that personal discipline is a muscle. It is totally a muscle. And the more you stretch it, the stronger it grows. Therefore, it also works in the other way, which is truth number 3. Like other muscles, willpower weakens when tired. Think about it when you get to Friday afternoon, you've had a massive week at your job, and you're in that moment of weakness, and next minute a whole bottle of wine's gone, you've sunk a couple of beers, you've eaten a bad meal, and you've just undone like a whole week's worth of great work, being consistent, really empowering habits, and then you just let it all go in that moment of weakness. Or let's say you go to a birthday party and you're on this amazing health kick program, and then in that moment of weakness, when the cake comes out, you succumb. Like, your willpower goes down the drain and you have the cake, and then you beat yourself up about it. Okay. You can beat this, guys, but you have to know that, we have to manage fatigue. We have to have rest in there. Truth number 4 is that installing any great habit successfully follows a distinct 4-part pattern of automation of routine. So there are patterns. There's, there is a cycle in there that you need to follow in order to embed it. And then the last truth is increasing self-control in one area of your life elevates self-control in all areas of your life. How cool is that to know? I'm like, oh my gosh. So if I nail my habits in this area, that means they're going to be transferable, and you're going to be able to nail habits in all areas of your life. I think that's so cool to know that. And he says this is why joining, the 5 a.m. club game-changing habit it'll change everything else that you will do. And I have to agree with that. You know, after doing the 5 a.m. club for years, it was so it was impeccable to the growth I had personally and professionally. It was absolutely amazing, directed my focus. And even hearing me say that, I need to get back to that, maybe when it warms up a bit. But Joel, I don't know, did any of that make sense to you?
Yeah, it did. And I actually remember being down in Melbourne, and you were doing this bloody 5 a.m. club stuff. And I remember talking to Linda, friend of ours, and we thought you were crazy. So I'm not doing that. You're like, 5 a.m., let's go to them. I'm like, nah, I'm busy then. Sleeping. You're crazy. And I think I had Linda on my side. She's like, nah, sorry. But ironically, the funny thing is after that, when we were doing the 75 hard and I had a good enough reason to get up, I was getting up earlier. Then you thought I was crazy because I was getting up at 4 o'clock in the morning. I wasn't in the 5 a.m. club. I was in the 4 a.m. club and getting up to do one of my 45-minute exercises with my son, Hunter, who had to go to school. My reason was big enough. I had a big enough reason to do it. And then you saw firsthand about me, like the way I was eating. Even when I was at a restaurant, I was having soda water instead of eating a meal because we didn't eat. Our stuff was on. So like, I think it really comes down, if you've got a big enough reason to create empowering habits, you'll do it. And the shame about it is most people wait to, get the heart attack before they go, shit, I better do something about my health. Or, your partner's packing their bags, walking out before you think you're going to change your habit. Or, you're getting your house foreclosed on before you decide maybe I should do something about my money or my business or whatever. So if you've got a big enough reason, you're going to do it. So Grant Cardone, he was he coming out of rehab, and he was not. He says all the time he's not even smart. He failed school. Like Gary Vee, they failed school, but you know what they did? They found Grant Cardone says, if you give me a track, I'll run on it all day. Just give me the track. Give me the system that I need to follow. And I'm looking at him today. Look at one of his posts today. He's sent out like 400 million emails. He's cold called 10,000 businesses. He's walked the streets and literally walked through hundreds of thousands of apartments. He's done like all this sort of stuff. So he's created a habit. But basically at the beginning, just to create all that, was he just got in the habit of, here's a process, like a 5 or 10 step process. I think he had back when he was doing this. He's simplified it since then, but of things I need to do to get a sale. And he did that from 7 o'clock in the morning till midnight at night for 40 years, for 20, 30, 40 years. Like he's now an overnight success after 40 years. So he found a habit that made him rich. So there's that cross-check that into any other area of your life, like you were saying. So another guy that I really admire is a guy called Jeff Roberti. He got into the habit of starting conversations now, and then inviting people to join his business. Now, he's a big mentor of ours, isn't he, Kristine? I follow him all the time. And I love so much wisdom. It's funny you find these 5 or 6 people on the planet that just like every time they open their mouth, you feel like you've been enlightened. And he's one of them. He's long since passed the time where he needs to actually do a damn thing, as with most of the people I like to follow, because they're not trying to sell you anything, But he just got a habit of like starting conversations and inviting people to take a closer look to start an online business, or start a business. So that's created $100 million worth of sales for him. And then something else that I put a post up about the other day. If he ever sees my Facebook, he'll think I'm a stalker. But he created better habits around his health, and he's gone from. I didn't realize he could have been a bit of a movie star. That guy, when in his younger days, I was like, never saw him until I Googled him. But he got really overweight, and his family had tragedy in their family from heart problems and all that, and he was a candidate for that too. Correct me if I'm wrong, but he joined. He started following his own medicine and got his health. He got better, more empowering health things, and he'd leave us for dead at the moment. And he's got a couple of years on us, doesn't he, Kristine? So, it's just, if you got a big enough reason, he had a big enough reason. He wanted to be rich, and then when he got overweight, he had a good enough reason because he didn't want to have the same thing happen to him that other family members have happened to him. Like the list goes on. I know that there's habits I have now because of the same thing. I do not want to be broke. So I make sure I have success habits in finance. Kristine wants to be super healthy at 40, and I bet you 50 and 60 and all that, because you know what? J-Lo. Let's be honest. And like half I can rattle off heaps of guys in Hollywood that get it right. So why not us? They've just got better habits than us and Botox. But anyway.
Yeah, I love that. And you bring up so many important points, Joel, because I do remember when I was doing the 5 a.m. club and you guys were sleeping in, but then you had a trigger, you had a why, you had something that pulled you that, and this is the first step in, it's called the lifetime habit arc. It's a cycle. You have to have a trigger. You have to have something that pulls you enough. At the moment, most people are sleeping in, dragging themselves out of bed, going to work, staying in a job that's unfulfilling, working with people that they don't really care much for, coming home, watching Netflix, and it's just the monotony of life. But if you had a trigger, if you had a reason, and this is why Jeff Roberti's story is so powerful, because I don't know if you know this, Joel, but he nearly died a few years ago. And that was his trigger. Like, he did get overweight and he was on his deathbed. And I remember going to this conference, and it was like the first conference Jeff Roberti had ever missed. Like, it was big, and he still phoned in from his hospital bed, which was pretty cool. But that was the trigger he needed to get his health back, to get his life back. And he is so fit right now. He is looking amazing. But this is what Robin Sharma talks about in regards to a trigger. So it's a simple model. It's based on the latest studies of how habits are actually formed. So your starting point is to create some kind of trigger, to embed like something like, rising early in the morning. The trigger might be as simple as putting an alarm clock in your bedroom, so it could be something like that. The second thing then is the ritual. So the trigger is the alarm going off to tell you, yep, it's time to get up. And then the ritual is get straight up. You've got to get straight up out of bed in the morning, because otherwise the prefrontal cortex is going to start, coming in and telling you all the excuses of why you need to stay in bed. So as soon as the alarm goes off, don't hit that snooze, like just jump straight out of bed. It's the same with, if I'm working my business and I know that I've got a 15 to 20 minute block where I just need to do my sales calls or reach outs, then I will, it basically hits that 9 a.m. and I'm straight in there doing that for the next 15, 20 minutes before my next call or whatever. So you've just got to, the trigger happens, and then you've got to take the action, the ritual. And then after that comes the reward, and it's not just a physical reward. It's an emotional reward. Now you feel good. Oh, wow, I'm winning the day. I actually said I was going to get up at 5 a.m. The alarm went off. I got straight up, and now the reward is I'm feeling alive, I'm feeling inspired, and I'm getting my health back on track, or whatever it is. And then step 4 of this cycle is the repetition. So then all you have to do is do that again tomorrow, and then do it again the next day, and then do it again the next day. And if you can do that, yes, it sounds simple. The process is simple. I'm not saying it's easy, but the system, the process of it is simple. And if you continue to do that, you will get the results that you want, especially if you follow through those 3 phases I spoke about and go beyond those 66 days. Now, will your habits change? Absolutely. We go through different rites of passages in our life, which, allow us to pivot our habits, which allow us to change, chop and change, and bring in new empowering habits. Once you kind of, like health for me, I'm super consistent with my health and fitness because it's a big priority for me. I don't want to be overweight. I don't want to ever have to rely on medication. So that triggers me enough to take the action required to stay fit and healthy. But other people, that's not a priority for them. Other things are a priority for them. So they have other kinds of habits that, maintain the lifestyle that they want. So if you're living the life though that you don't want or that you don't desire, then you have to look at the habits that you've created and ask yourself, is this a habit that's empowering or disempowering? Is this a habit that is serving me right now? Is it getting me closer to the lifestyle I actually desire? Because I see a lot of people out there, Joel, complain about how they look, how they feel, how tired they are, how overweight they are, but then they don't change their habits. They don't change the things they do daily in order to get, take the action and then get the results and the reward that they want. So we see a lot of this. We see a lot of talk, but then the feet don't match what's coming out of their mouth. So that's why we really love to teach people some really simple formulas like this. And if the 5 a.m. club sounds like something you'd love to be part of, what I love about it is that between 5 and 6 a.m., you set yourself up to win. And maybe you don't get up at 5, maybe you get up at 6 and you do it from 6 till 7. But in that first pocket of time, that first 20 minutes, you're moving. You're moving in a way that is getting your heart rate up. Okay, so it's not just a normal walk. It might be a resistance walk. It might be something where where you sweat. Now, why do we do this? Because it releases cortisol. It's because it gets dopamine rises, the serotonin, your metabolism elevates. If you just go out for a walk for that first 20 minutes and your heart rate doesn't get up, then you're doing yourself an injustice, okay? Yeah, do the walk later, or you can add it to the end of the exercise, the huffy puffy stuff, but we need to get our heart rate increased. Now, the benefits of that are you're going to feel more focused. You're going to feel more productive. You're going to have brain optimization. Your energy is going to grow. You're going to be less stressed and you're going to live longer. I don't know if that is a goal of anyone else, but that's definitely a goal of mine. So those first 20 minutes, like adding exercise into the start of your day, huffy puffy exercise, you're going to get all those amazing benefits. Then after your exercise, it's time to reflect. So for the next 20 minutes, you get to reflect. So you get to journal, you get to meditate, you can plan, you can pray, you can contemplate. Why do we do this? Because gratitude, your level of gratitude gets boosted. Your awareness soars, your happiness is lifted, your wisdom develops, your serenity expands. And the benefits of all that is you create greater positivity. Who doesn't want greater positivity in their life? You have decreased reactivity. You're not going to react as much. You have higher creativity. You have stronger performance, and you have a richer life. Doesn't that sound amazing? So you have to have pocket number 2 somewhere in there where you're reflecting. And then the last pocket, and then I'll be quiet, is the grow pocket. So between 5:40 and 6 o'clock, the third 20 minutes, it's reviewing your goals. It's reading your books, listening to an audio book or a podcast or studying online. This is where you get to grow as a person. And why would you want to do that? Because your knowledge deepens. You accumulate confidence. You accelerate confidence. You master change. And the benefits of all that is that you get increased income, better impact. You get, your inspiration rises, your personal growth increases. So guys, this is how, it's called the 20-20-20 formula. So 3 20-minute pockets. Now look, Robin says to do it at 5 a.m. It's the start of the day. It's dawn. It's amazing. If you do that, great. If that doesn't work for you, then do it when you rise. Do it at 7 a.m. Do it at 6 a.m. But in the morning, there's all this science around that's when you're most creative. That's when you're most productive. That's when you're most clear is in the morning. And that's why he really recommends doing it then. And if you can embed some of these habits throughout your day, now I don't get up at 5 a.m. anymore, but I still have these rituals in my day, these habits, because they serve me. They allow me to grow. They allow me to serve, create a greater impact. They allow me to create, a greater income as well. And it keeps me fit and healthy. So Joel, I know I went on a massive big spiel then, but
it's what
what
we
are
do.
your thoughts around that?
Oh, it's what we do. Hey, look, some amazing things came up for me then, and I was feverishly on trying to find the study. Now, this is like just coming from memory, but I think that there was a study that showed that for men, if you got up and did 10 squats and 10 burpees, as soon as you got out of bed, you just did that, it just had such a massive change on your mental health, which then obviously flows into wealth and everything else. Like just as simple as getting out of bed, doing 10 squats, no weights, nothing. If that's all you do, it does something. Like it was. I remember when I was told, and I don't want to butcher it, Google it yourselves by giving you any false information from my memory, but it was massive. I remember going, holy crap, that's all you got to do that. So guys, get out of bed. And women, but like I remember it being a study around men. So I just want to go on a rant a little bit about the talking that people do and where they go wrong. So rather than like people complain, let's say about their business, because this is the industry I'm in, you probably get a lot of complaints about health. I get complaints about business. They complain that their business isn't where it is. I've seen tears. I've seen all this stuff, and everything in between. And when they get told that they need to create a habit of like, going and getting sales like Grant Cardone or Jeff Roberti, going out and sharing, going out and doing this, rather than actually doing what they need to do and creating that empowering habit, they often will go and get card readings done or play with crystals or go to the new idea and read the star signs or go and eat food, go do anything else, go create banners, go do everything other, or buy another course or go to another Tony Robbins event or go to now guys, disclaimer, because I know I fired some of you up by saying that, and good, because you'll remember this bit. I love all that stuff. Go do it. If it makes you feel good, do it. It's important. There's no point making a whole heap of money doing sales if you're feeling shitty. So if that's what lights you up, do it. But please just realize that that's not all there is. You need to create habits that will get the result. It's like if I was saying, I can't believe I'm not able to run 4-minute Ks and Kristine can beat me up the stairs. That's so crap. And then I just go and eat McDonald's. Like what I need to do is I need to go out. Well, first of all, I just calmly ask her, how much do you run lately, Kristine? And then she'd probably tell me a lie, and then I'll add 10% to it. And then I'll go out and do more if she knows what I'm doing. But all jokes aside, I'd have to go and create empowering habits, and like talking about it isn't going to do it. Another course on how, like, or another fad diet or some other quick fix rot isn't gonna do anything. Okay, so if your business is failing or not where you want it to be, create better habits. Same with everything else. So don't go for some easy quick fix solution, because success is found in doing the mundane over the long term. If you want to win, and this is coming from Andy Priscilla, you need to come and show up and do the things that no one else wants to do, that isn't sexy, that isn't fun. Like no one really wants to destroy themselves in the gym every day. So people say they do. I don't believe it. I think they just like the outcome. I think they like the endorphins. Like I don't want to show up every day and open the doors and turn the chicken oven on at the shop. But I like the outcome of the wealth, so you've got to do that. So like repetition is the mother of all skill. You'll get your results by showing up every day. So guys, it comes down to knowing yourself. If you want new empowering habits and you don't want to drink anymore, stop hanging out with people that drink all the time. If you want to have empowering business like success, stop hanging around with employee losers. Now, I'm not saying employees are losers. I'm saying ones that don't want to get out. You need to start hanging out with people that are winning. If you want to be healthy, don't hang out with people that go to McDonald's and think it's okay to have pizza 3 times a week. You need to hang out with better people and know yourself that if you are going to put yourself in that situation, so like Kristine has mentioned about the 75 hard, she's turned up to events where there's going to be drinking and sort of imply that you'll have a drink. Well, Kristine prepared prior to going there to how she's going to get around that. So don't just float in and know yourself. Know that you're highly likely to have a drink if that's the way you are. Like Kristine's drink might be like my dessert. I might show up to one of those events and have to know that I probably shouldn't go near the dessert table, or already fill myself up on heaps of healthy food so I can't fit any in, or drink heaps of water before I go, or I don't know. Come up with a million things, just being real here. So just know yourself. Don't put yourselves in situations where you're likely to break your habit and end up going back to the destruction stage. And you're going to be fine, guys. Just if you fall off the wagon, just get back on it. And I think that's where I want to leave it, Kristine, for me. You just got to, it's up to you. It's up. Yeah.
Absolutely. It comes down to that self-responsibility. No one's coming to save us. It's up to us to create these habits and the life that we want. So, and drinking is a big one, like I know when I was on 75 hard, I was in that situation where I had to go to social events where our company was actually paying for drinks and food. And it wasn't that it was hard. It was that I had to be prepared. And so I had a strategy. I had a plan. I knew that when I got there, I would get soda water and I would put it in a wine glass. So I still felt like I was, having the social side of it, but it was just a soda water. And I didn't miss it at all, So you can prepare and put things in place. Now, if I know that I'm going to a birthday party, or I know that I'm going to an event where there's going to be a lot of bad food that I don't eat, then I will either have a shake or something before I go, so that I'm not standing there starving and that's the only thing. And if there is nothing that I can eat, then I just don't eat, So you just go and mingle. I'm a people person anyway. I'd much rather talk to people than eat. So yeah, I just wanted to finish with this quote. And it's by a guy called F. Scott Fitzgerald. And he says, for what it's worth, it's never too late, or in my case, too early to be whoever we want to be. I hope you live a life you're proud of. If you find that you're not, I hope you have the strength to start all over again. Guys, forgive yourself. If you're not where you want to be, you can start over. So please don't beat yourselves up just because you're not where you want to be. Please don't think you're too old. I'm approaching my 40s and I know that all the research shows that this is where life really takes off for a lot of people in their 40s and 50s. That's where, the wealth and the health and everything really just clicks in for so many people. So, it's never too late. It's never too late to be the person you want to be or to have the life you want to have. So that's it from us. Go and implement some of these empowering strategies and habits, and we will see you on the next podcast.
Damn. Yeah.